All right, here's a little acronym for you, MLM. One of the key things that I've noticed while analyzing this and other solos, now that goes back to the solo study section of the course, is that good solo players, good guitarists, and good people that have memorable solos, they have melody, they have licks, and they have moments. MLM. Melodies, licks, and moments. What does that mean? Well, we've already talked about melodies. We've already hit on that. If you think about Petrucci, if you think about Steve Vai, if you think about Marcos Foley, you think about, they kind of start out with a very melodic singing riff or lick or, phrase that kind of takes the solo in a direction that kind of, a lot of times it'll match the vocal melody of the singer, or if it's just instrumental, it might, take some of the vocals, if there were vocals, from the chords that they project. But a lot of times you'll hear the guitar player play some melodies, and then when there's this big build-up, there's a lot of fast licks. Or there'll be a certain lick that has a signature sound to it. If it's blues, it's not, shredding or anything like that. But there'll be something that is, you can definitely tell it's a lick. It's not really a part of the song. It's just something to kind of show off a little bit. Now, showing off a little bit is good. You just don't want to, have ripping guitar shred all the time, right? Because that can get monotonous on the ear, and the attention span of your listener is short, very short these days, with everything being on demand and you can stream. And I think the skip rate, the last I checked, of Spotify is you have about 7 seconds, if that, before the person skips to the next song. So you got to be engaging. You don't want to have the same monotonous type of things. And if you're just super shredding everything, it's not going to work. So those are melodies, licks, and what are moments? One of the best references that I use for expressive solos is not even guitar. I encourage you not to even look at guitar. Look at classical instruments. Look at other kinds of instruments. Look at piano players, cellists, violinists, and particularly wind players, woodwinds. In particular for me, one of my favorite soloists is Kenny G. He plays saxophone. He plays some of the most melodic, some of the most heart-wrenching, emotional songs that you know. Okay, Sentimental comes to mind. Really, really good song. Forever in Love. That's the wedding song for most people. All kinds of melodies that he's written, has won Grammys for. Rightfully so, because he's just a genius when it comes to melodies. But the thing about woodwinds that will help you in your solo is that the people that use their air to force notes out of the instrument, they have to stop and breathe at some point. So they're creating moments of space. All right, we start with melodies, licks, and now we have moments. We have moments of space for the song to breathe. Not only can you take a breath in, but the song breathes. Try this the next time you play guitar. Don't just sit there and play everything you can think of. Really be aware of your breathing. What does your breathing do? So when you take a breath, stop playing. Exhale, play a little bit. Stop playing on the inhale. Even if it's in the middle of a phrase. That will teach you to kind of get your phrases together a little bit more creatively, right? So with saxophone players, they have to pause and they create little moments. Notice this on another YouTube video I watched not too long ago. I think it was from David Walliman. If you'll check him out, he talked about Joe Satriani, and he talked about one of the things, and I think he was doing a series on some of the greatest guitar players. And Joe Satriani, he has a lot of moments, a lot of pauses and space in his playing. He'll play a note, stop, play another note or a phrase, stop. Okay, so great solo players and great guitarists know to play melodies, something that resonates with the reader, to kind of show off, because people that listen to solos really like that. It doesn't mean necessarily a shred. It doesn't necessarily mean play the fastest thing you know. The show off for you could be just playing one note that bends and it just lasts forever. And it just hits that pitch perfectly, and it just creates that emotional firework in people's hearts and people's soul and resonates with them. And then they have moments where they just stop playing and they just let the music speak for itself, okay? So think of that. Melodies, licks, and moments. This is what I'm going to be thinking of when I'm creating this solo.